I think it's community and visibility, right? Like putting yourself out there, saying yes to saying, I'm going to speak up, or I'm going to take a part of this opportunity. I'm going to join together and we're going to create this Bookkeeping Made Simple series, right? Visibility is, I think, a really big part of it also.
I think it's like a snowball that happens, right? You meet one person and then you meet the other person. Then you're like, this meeting people is not that bad, right? I can walk into these rooms. I know the stuff that I'm doing, right? It just becomes very easy and it's necessary for business.
Welcome to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey, the podcast where we share valuable insights, resources, and motivation to fuel your entrepreneurial spirit. Let's build a supportive community together. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you listen to podcasts and be part of this journey. Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you, whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website, www.cmeaccountingllc.com, or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Good day and welcome to another episode of our podcast, Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We are so happy that you decided to join us. And today we're doing something a little different. We're going to have a conversation among 3 accountants. Let me introduce you to our guests today. It's Ylyss Taylor and Lorraine Millington. Ylyss Taylor is the founder of TaylorMade Accounts LLC, bringing nearly 18 years of experience across private and public accounting. She specializes in helping small businesses clean up their books, create customized financial reports, and implement efficient systems, all with the goal of helping entrepreneurs gain clarity, stay compliant, and grow confidently. Lorraine Millington is a tax strategist and wealth advisor who works with entrepreneurs, real estate investors, and corporate professionals to grow and protect their money through strategic tax planning and financial clarity. With over 18 years of experience, her approach goes beyond just compliance, and she helps clients to align their tax strategy with financial decisions that support long-term growth and lasting wealth. And I am so privileged to have them join us today. Welcome, Lorraine and Ylyss. How are you doing today?
Thank you. Doing well. Thank you for having us.
Yes.
Thank you, Clarita. Thank you so much for having us. We're so excited to be here.
You're most welcome. So I mentioned one thing we have in common is that we're all accountants. Another thing is we're based in the Bronx. And the third is we're coming off of a collaboration, Bookkeeping Made Simple series. That was organized by Ylyss and myself. And Lorraine joined us for one of those workshops as a special guest. We had such amazing conversations that I'm like, you know what? Let's talk about this some more on the podcast. So today we're going to focus on the power of saying yes, showing up and connecting. We each have our own firms, but we're making impact by connecting. I mentioned that we have collaborated in the past, specifically on the series. And based on those conversations, we realized that it's nice to just talk about that a little bit more. As business owners, opportunities come up. Some we take, some we don't take. So how do we make those decisions and what does that look like for us in business? Let's start with just one moment when you said yes to something that opened a door or led to growth in your business or your overall career.
So I think one thing that comes to mind for me in terms of saying yes, this was a few years back where I decided to say yes to taking a certification test. So one of the things, I'm an enrolled agent, right? So that is, for most people who don't understand what that is, that's actually like the highest certification level as it relates to tax preparation or taxes in general. And so to say yes to taking that step to get that certification and kind of be recognized within that space, I think not only just opened doors because it helped to add to the credibility and to the expertise that I had, right? But part of saying yes was understanding for myself that you don't have to necessarily know everything to take that next step, right? And I think that that was a little bit of my hesitation when I first started to get into the industry. It's like, okay, I need to know everything before actually leveling up, if you would say, right? And so saying yes to not necessarily knowing everything about the tax code, but knowing that I knew enough to be able to accomplish that certification, I think just opened doors for me in general. It allowed me to be able to handle or bring on higher level clients, right? And then just increase and expand my expertise that way. So I think that was the catalyst to kind of getting to where I am now. So
Great. Thank you. And Ylyss?
That's great, Lorraine, because right here on my desk, I legitimately have a Post-it that says perfection is the enemy of progress. I have to continuously tell myself that we don't have to get it perfect. You know, good is better than perfect. We just kind of need to get it out the door. Not that we do sloppy work, but just, you know, just for us not to internalize it as much. For me, my moment of saying yes was even before I started my business. It was more so while I had my full-time job. Everybody would tell me how much they liked working with me. Oh, I have this person for you. And I would be like, do I have the time, the capacity to do this outside of my full-time job? So I think just like saying yes to the first client outside of work kind of put me on this path to realizing that it's something that I'm capable of doing.
Wow. And what about, so you mentioned about, your certification, Lorraine, and Ylyss, you mentioned about saying yes, to that first client. What in that moment, or what about those specific ones made it seem like the right opportunity, the right thing to say yes to at the time?
Yeah, I think for the most part, it was okay. If I'm gonna continue taking, like, it was kind of that analysis paralysis type of thing, right? Like continuing to take classes, you're continuing to get educated, but what are you actually going to do with this information? Like, what are you actually going to do with the knowledge, right? And so the more that I thought about it, I was like, if it's, I don't want to say it's kind of now or never, but it was a little bit, I kind of gave myself that ultimatum, right? Like, how much more am I going to need to know? Like, I knew enough, and I was confident in the fact that I knew enough to take that step. And that was kind of, I guess, the decision in that moment. Like, if you don't do it now, there's always going to be another tomorrow, right? And I'm so glad that I didn't wait, because I was able to still, you know, have the guidance from my mentor, who unfortunately ended up passing away shortly after I had gotten the certification, right? So that was even more evidence for me. Like, if I didn't do it then, he would have never seen that I had gotten in or taken that step, right? So I think everything happens for a reason. I mean, that's kind of one of my biggest mottos. But I think that just having the confidence in myself to say, I know I can pass this. And whatever I don't know, I'm going to learn along the way, right? And continue to perfect that, right? So.
Yeah, for sure. In my situation, I think what prompted me to say yes is that the client really needed help, right? And for me, I knew I was capable of helping them. I knew that it was work that I knew how to do. It's work I do inside and out. Where the hesitation came from me was whether I would have the time to do it. Knowing that I had a job and a family and so on and so forth. But just saying yes to that one and being able to help that first client, I knew that I was able to do it for other clients.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Yes, for me. And it involves the two of you. So the bookkeeping series, it was something, Ylyss and I spoke about. And Ylyss, as we spoke more, she said yes there. And then I had met Lorraine. Well, we hadn't met in person. Well, we still haven't met in person,
Right.
actually. But I was introduced to you through a podcast like we're doing now. And I reached out.
Yes.
And we had a conversation just to, chat, a coffee chat. So that's saying yes to that conversation. And then eventually, once Ylyss and I were working on this workshop, we reached out to you as the tax expert so that you can assist. And you said yes. So there's many yeses there. And then just as a side note, I found out that Ylyss and Lorraine, you guys actually knew each other. So that there was a yes there too.
Yes,
so
there were a lot of yeses.
Yeah. So let's talk about showing up, on this podcast. Ylyss, as you guys talk about how you guys know each other, saying yes to those opportunities. Let's just talk about that a little bit.
Yeah. I'll start because my first yes came from you, right? How we met. I messaged you in a chat that we have, and you were very receptive, right, to whatever I said. I don't even remember what I said. I'm like,
you were actually complimenting me
right?
on something. Yes.
You're doing so well in your business. I have the same type of business. You go, girl, or something like that. And then you were like, oh, yes, we need to have tea immediately. It was a yes. Absolutely. I didn't anticipate that coming, but it came and we said yes. And you were that first connection. And then when we spoke about having this bookkeeping series, you mentioned Lorraine, and I was like, oh my God, this name sounds familiar. I feel like I've seen her before in some other one of my communities. So I think another part of this is just community and like being a part of something, being able to communicate with people who are in the same industry as you. So when we made the connection on the bookkeeping series, when I saw Lorraine, I told her and we had that connection as well.
And I think it's just so interesting how we all kind of came together. But I also think in addition to community, it's visibility, right? So how Clarita met me is because I was visible, or I happened to share one of a previous podcasts that I was on, right? And she happened to see me on that podcast. I think also in terms of visibility, saying, so like the group that Ylyss and I were a part of, right? That happened because I decided, at least I'm pretty sure I decided to speak up and say things within this particular networking group that we were in, right? So the decision to say, hey, I have questions, or hey, I want to share information that I think can benefit others, also created the visibility to say, oh, I've seen that person somewhere before. Or, oh, let me reach out to this person and say, you're doing a great job with your business. Because if Clarita, you weren't sharing what you were doing in your business and how successful you were and all of that, that initiated the connection with Ylyss, right? So I think it's community and visibility, right? Like putting yourself out there, saying yes to saying, I'm going to speak up, or I'm going to take a part of this opportunity. I'm going to join together and we're going to create this Bookkeeping Made Simple series, right? Visibility is, I think, a really big part of it also.
Yes, and I'm listening to you. I'm also thinking of collaboration, because we all accountants. We do similar things. Our focus may be different, but in the end, we work in the accounting space. So we could have decided that, this girl is a competition. I'm not working with her. But no, we support each other. We realize the opportunities there, and we do the best that we can. So maybe if you can chat a little bit more about what collaboration has looked like for you.
If I could jump in on that, I think that's such a great point, because oftentimes I think I've seen that sometimes people think like tax preparers and bookkeepers are in competition with each other, when in reality, it's really a collaboration. Because if you're working with a bookkeeper, especially a bookkeeper that is an expertise in their craft and knows what they're doing, that just makes the goal of getting the tax returns prepared, or even doing tax strategy, that much easier. Because if I'm working with clients, I need to see your books. Like, I can't necessarily offer strategy if I don't know what you're working with, right? And so that's why I very much appreciate collaboration with bookkeepers, and which is why I joined the network that Ylyss and I were a part of, because I wanted to understand that world more, but I also wanted to collaborate with bookkeepers, because I don't want to necessarily do bookkeeping, but I want to be able to refer and actually work with other bookkeepers. So I think it's a really important relationship. And like you said, it shouldn't necessarily be looked at as competition, but more so the collaboration part of it. So
Yeah, I would second that for sure. I mean, in my networking groups that I've been going to lately, they are like, are you in competition with CPA firms? And I'm like, I don't believe I am. I worked for a CPA firm for a really long time. So I think what gives me an edge is that I know what they're looking for, right? And they want to work with people who know what they're doing so their jobs can be made easier.
Exactly.
Right. So we kind of all work in tandem with each other.
Okay. And one thing I've been hearing a lot of here is networking. What does networking look like for each of you?
So my huge networking push really did start with Clarita. After I gave her my yes, she started sending me events to attend, and we would attend some together. She would just send it like, I'm just sending it. You can do whatever you want with it. I'm just spreading the information around. And that was very helpful for me. And it kind of ties back into Lorraine's visibility conversation, because for a long time, I was not that visible, right? I was in the groups. I didn't really speak up much. That's how I knew Lorraine. I was the observer, right? I was the observer, but I wasn't like putting myself out there. And then when I started with Clarita and she brought me to events, or I happened to go to an event by myself and I met someone and connected with them. And I think it's like a snowball that happens, right? You meet one person and then you meet the other person. Then you're like, this meeting people is not that bad, right? I can walk into these rooms. I know the stuff that I'm doing, right? It just becomes very easy. And it's necessary for business.
For sure. I think for me, what networking is, it kind of, the foundation of it is in education, right? Like if I'm going to certain meetings or if I'm engaging with certain groups, a lot of times it's to learn whatever that particular topic is or whatever that group is offering, right? Like I'm always wanting to improve and enhance what it is that I have, because that not only makes me better, but then that helps me serve clients better also, right? So a lot of times when I'm networking or if I'm deciding to join a group, it's because they're offering a level of value and education that I think can benefit both, right? And I know that I'm going to come with value and education and expertise. So it's a winning exchange, if you will, right? So a lot of times network, and you always want to be in the room with like-minded individuals, right? And also people, like they say, that are smarter than you, right? Like that's how you learn and that's how you grow. And that's typically how I approach networking from an education-based standpoint.
Yeah, I think I also approach it, aside from education, as more just like a connection. Just knowing people in different industries, what they do, being able to connect them with people. I find that very gratifying.
And you learn from other people too, right? Like you learn how people are doing different things in business or what their niches are. So you're able to refer like, hey, that's not something that I technically do, but I can refer you to someone else that I know is kind of an expertise in that area.
Let's pause for a moment to hear from our sponsors. You've built a name for yourself through hard work and dedication, but does managing the business side feel like a distraction from your true passion? Are you dealing with unmanaged finances? CME Accounting LLC is here to help. We specialize in organizing your financial records, allowing you to focus on what you do best. With organized books, you'll have more time for what inspires you. Whether that's expanding your influence, building relationships, or simply enjoying life. Don't let unmanaged finances hold you back. Reach out to CME Accounting LLC today and let us help you thrive. Visit our website www.cmeaccountingllc.com or email us at admin@cmeaccountingllc.com. All right, let's jump back into our conversation. Yeah, and it's so good to build that network that way. Because you just never know. Sometimes you share information, you don't know who's reached out to the other, but just the fact that you've made that available, you're adding value. So as you grow your network, you grow the network of your people within your own network. And that is very valuable. Now let's talk about, creating our own stage. I know, Lorraine, we talked a lot about visibility. You definitely out there, you're putting out your videos, you're hosting workshops. And I know, Ylyss, it sounds like you now being more visible. And I know we did create that workshop together. So there is that thing about creating your own stage. Do you each want to comment on that a little bit more?
It's so interesting because I think most people wouldn't realize that I'm more introverted than extroverted, right? And I think a lot of people wouldn't necessarily be able to tell that, but I also, when I'm in certain environments, I can adapt to the environment, right? And so in terms of like creating your own stage, like I'm someone who likes to be behind the camera most of the time, right? Like I don't necessarily want to be in the front, but I know that the more that people hear what I have to say and the information that I'm sharing, it resonates better, right? So when I'm creating my own stage, it's either doing videos that is sharing information about tax strategy and tax planning and things that people can do. And that creates your own stage because you control the narrative in those situations, right? You're able to share the information. You're able to use social media as like your platform. Like it's such a powerful tool. I mean, there's a lot, right, that happens on social media, but it allows you to put your own message out there and create your own message. And I think that that's one way that I create my own stage, right? Whether it's doing content videos for clients or even like hosting my own webinars and things of that nature to be able to share information. So that's mainly how I create my own stage. If I'm not like being asked to speak on someone's stage.
Yeah. I mean, I, like Lorraine, I'm also very introverted, but when I get in these rooms, I have people that tell me like, you're so natural at this, right? Like I could never tell that you're introverted. And I'm like, I think it's just a matter of being comfortable, right? Being able to own what you can do. When you know what you're doing and why you're doing it and you have the knowledge, it's very easy to speak on it. And it's also easy to make other people feel comfortable when you kind of put your guard down. Like, hey, I'm Ylyss, right? Like, let's talk about it very casually instead of putting so much pressure on yourself. So I think for me, creating my own stage was just creating my own business, right? Just doing it the way I would like to do it, the flexibility to do it, asking the questions that I want to ask, right? Just kind of setting the stage for other people to feel comfortable.
I love that. And for me, let's see. I wouldn't say I'm an introvert, but I am somebody who likes to support from the back. So if I have to be upfront, I will do it. But I prefer to like be pushing people forward and just be the part of the support squad. But one thing I've realized as a business person, sometimes you have to get out of your comfort zone. Yes, you probably want to be doing behind the stage stuff. But if you want people to know about your business, if you want people to get to know you, you basically have to do that. And I guess that's one of the things we learn as business owners, operating outside our comfort zone, but still in a way that feels true to us. We're not forced to do something the way that somebody else wants it. We get to control that. So that's great. Now, as we get ready to close out, I would just like to ask, what's one thing you'll continue doing to nurture collaboration and community in your business?
I'll continue to say yes to the coffees, the lunches, the dinners, as long as I feel like it is something I can learn from, or we can connect on, we can share ideas, even if it's someone who wants to get my point of view on something. I will continue to say yes to build on everything, because personal growth is professional growth to me, right? And saying yes to the coffee dates, even though I don't want to go, it's pushing me as a person, right, to get out and just stretch myself. And as long as I stretch as a person, I feel like my business will continue to grow.
Such a great point. And I would just add to that and say, well, first, even before adding to that, like just going back to one of your other points, Clarita, like you were definitely, at least from my perspective, like a connector, right? Like you're someone who, even though I know you feel like you maybe, maybe not injured, but what you mentioned about like pushing or leading from the back, right? Like that is definitely just the personality that I've experienced from you, right? In terms of like, you're like the hub, and then like you have all of these extensions to other areas, right? And that also works both ways, right? You're connecting people that way, but then it's also connecting people back to you as well. And so one thing to answer your question in terms of how would I foster more collaboration is kind of adapting that, right? Like that's not my general stance, right? Like but a little bit more behind the scenes, and kind of doing things while still working with people, but not being as front facing, but wanting to foster more of that connectivity, right? Like, and I do that through like affiliate relationships, right? Like if I meet someone, I'm quickly going to either want to offer like, hey, I know someone, I'm going to refer them to you, and vice versa. And having those type of affiliate relationships, again, I think is just like a two-way street that benefits both people. And that's one way that I think we can collaborate, because now we're improving each other's businesses and then in building a relationship at the same time. So
thank you so much. I really appreciate your kind words, and thanks for sharing all of this with us, both of you. And I just want to give you the opportunity now to just let people know how they can reach you. And maybe if you want to talk about the people that you serve best, now would be a good time to do that.
Sure. You can reach me on LinkedIn. It's just my name, Ylyss, last name Taylor, Taylor, TaylorMade Accounts. I do have a LinkedIn business profile. You can also reach me on Facebook, same thing, first name, last name. And my website is TaylorMadeAccounts.com. I basically serve multiple industries. I like to think that I rescue, or we at TaylorMade Accounts rescue small to medium-sized business owners from messy books. I do like working on cleanups as well as the monthly maintenance of the books. So if you know anyone who is looking for anything like that, keep me in mind.
And this is the time, right? So it's seriously like we're approaching end of year, right? Like this is the time to get things cleaned up. And for myself, like you can reach me. My company's name is Melanin Tax Solutions, right? And so you can either reach me on the website, melanintax.com, and then it's also the same name across all of the social networks. And I also have the ability to have a free consultation with me on the website, right? So for anyone who's listening to this and you're enjoying and kind of seeing yourself in the themes that we were talking about, like I certainly welcome you to have a free consultation with me. But one thing that I'll add to that is now is the time to get in contact with Clarita and Ylyss, right? In terms of getting your books cleaned up, because as we're looking forward to next year, which is basically like, it feels like it's tomorrow, right? Like we're going to be in tax filing season. And one of the ways to kind of get yourself prepared is knowing what your numbers look like, making sure that you have your financial statements, your profit and loss, and your balance sheet in place so that then you can come to me and say, okay, based on this, what kind of tax strategies are available to me? Or what can I do to kind of improve my situation before having the shock of filing the tax return and either potentially having a large balance due or, whatever that situation may look like. So now is the time to kind of get those things in place, turn the mess into a message, right? In terms of, okay, now I see what the data is looking like. Now we can really put a strategy together, especially just with everything happening in the economy. Now is the time where you can take more control over keeping more of your money based on what you have and what you're currently doing. So melanintax.com. And I work with entrepreneurs, like small business owners, also those who are interested in investing in real estate or already in real estate investors, because that's also one of the real estate offers some of the biggest tax benefits and tax advantages. So that's also something that I work with clients on. And then also corporate professionals, right? Like, unfortunately, W-2 earners are the ones that generally pay the most in tax, but you can also benefit more from tax strategy if we're putting yourself in position to be able to do that. So.
Yeah, thank you. And at the time of recording, this is end of October. So there's enough time to get things together, engage with either one of us, whether it's on the bookkeeping or the tax side. Lorraine, for instance, I know you also provide tax strategy. So basically now is the time to be having those conversations to see what can be done before the end of this year, and what can be done to make 2026 even better year for you. I just want to say thank you for saying yes to those coffee chats that we've had, saying yes to working on the workshop together, saying yes to this podcast, and just saying yes overall. I look forward to continue to collaborate with you all. Thank you so much for listening to Begin Build Blossom, and we look forward to you joining us for our next episode. Thank you and have a good day.
A quick note before we wrap up. The insights and experiences shared by our guests are their own. We love creating space for real conversations about business and growth, and everyone's journey is unique. Therefore, this podcast is for informational and inspirational purposes only. It is not meant to replace legal, financial, or other professional advice. So we encourage you to take what's useful, do your own due diligence, and build what works best for you.
Thanks for listening to Begin, Build, Blossom Your Business Journey. We hope today's conversation gave you the insights and inspiration you need to move forward on your own path. Don't forget to subscribe or follow wherever you get your podcast so you never miss an episode. Do you have feedback? We'd love to hear from you at podcast@cmeaccountingllc.com. Join us again next week for a new episode.